All right, so here we are, and we are going to start understanding how percentage questions work. And I will tell you honestly, I love percentage questions because once you know how to do them, they are pretty much some of the easiest questions that you're going to learn. Unfortunately, until you learn how to do them, they can be some of the most confusing questions that you'll be faced with. And there won't be a lot of them on the GED or the HISET test. There'll be some, and there will generally be word problems, and it might be a word problem that's tied in with a graph or a chart or something else. So let's make sure we understand how they work. So first thing is the word percent by itself. Percent means 1/100th of a part. So think of the per part as out of or from, and cent is a root that always indicates the number 100. So percent means out of 100 or from 100. So thinking of some other words that you might know that have the way we use per or have the word cent. So a century. A century is 100 years. A centurion is a Roman soldier who's in charge of 100 soldiers. So your centurion is in charge of 100 foot soldiers. If you say to somebody, well, that they only chose 2 students per the 10 that applied, per indicates 2 out of 10. Same thing if you're buying something. Cloth is $2 per yard. That means for every yard, you're spending $2 for every yard or out of every yard. The membership might be $10 per year. Well, that's $10 out of every year. And a penny is a cent. So we say, well, that thing's 5 cents, 5 pennies. A cent, it takes 100 cents to make $1. So this is just an example of ways that we use per and cent in everyday language. So let's talk about how to do percents. Well, another little reminder, and I'll show this to you because I think it's cool. Do you see the arrow in the FedEx sign? Well, if you don't see the arrow, I'll show it to you in a minute. But when you look at the percent symbol, you should be noticing something. The percent symbol is literally, if I take it, I straighten this up just a little bit, make it a little bit shorter, and put my symbols here, the percent symbol, 0, 0, this can be a 1. It's basically the number 100. So when you see 53%, remember, percent means out of 100. Okay, now here's the payoff. Did you find the arrow for the FedEx symbol yet? Well, if you didn't, it's right here. It goes over. Here's the point of the arrow. And there's the back of the arrow. And right there it is. Right there is your arrow. And if you look at it, it has it right in the symbol. Once you see the FedEx arrow, you'll never forget it. Once you realize that this is actually the number 100 turned into a symbol, boop, boop, boop. Nope, went back too far. But that's a symbol. So you'll never look at the percent symbol and not realize it's a 100 again. Okay, so I'm going to skip through a little bit of this because we're just going to go over some problems in the Kaplan book. So here's the important part of this. You need to understand that there's certain words that you're going to see in a percentage question that are going to be the same in almost every percentage question. So I'm going to use some different colors here and circle them. The first thing that you're going to see is the word what. What, no matter what question you're looking at, what percent of 20 is 12? 12 is 60% of what number? What percent of people prefer chocolate ice cream? There's a what number, there's a what is, there's a what percent, and there's another what number. So the word what, W-H-A-T, is going to be taking the place of the variable X. So what, it's what we're looking for, right? It's what we're looking for. The next thing we're going to circle is the word is. What percent of 20 is 12? 12 is 60%. Now there's no is in this one. It's not all the time, but is what number? Is 25%? Is what percent? Is 20%. So you're going to see that word is a lot. I'll make this a little bit thinner here. The last one we're going to look for all the time is it's a preposition of 20, of what number, of 20, of 4, of 40, of 18, and of what number. So these three words are super important to percentages, because what they're going to do for us is they're going to help us set up a proportion. And the what is going to be one of these that is missing. Actually, this one's already there. So it's either going to be what can take the place of percent. You can say is what or what is, or you could say what, you could say of what number. I don't think there's any way to say what of. So the what is going to take the place of either the percent, the part, or the total. And that brings us to one more important thing that is very important. The is and the of. Of is always a total number of something, and the is always a part of something. So the is and the part go together, the of and the total go together. And of course, the percentage is the part out of 100. So part over total, is over of, percent over 100. If you can keep these things in mind right here, you're going to be in great shape. But let me clear this off. And let's take a look at just one or two of those. And then we're just going to do some problems out of different pages of the Kaplan book that all deal with percentages. But if you learn it the way I'm showing it to you, they're all easy. They really are. So let's give it a shot. First step, you're going to set up a proportion. A proportion is when you have two rates or ratios that are equal. You're always going to put the 100% on the bottom. Okay, so far so good. Now you're going to read the question. What percent? So let's look at just that by itself. What percent? That means we don't know the percent. The percent goes here, so we're just going to put an X. Of 20 is 12. Well, of goes on the bottom. 20 is 12. That's the part. So they're asking us, if we have 12 out of 20, we have 12 parts out of 20, what percent is that? And depending on what other videos you've watched, you know that when we can get 3 out of 4 spots that are set up to be proportional, the way to solve that is you cross multiply. So you do 12 times 100, and then you divide, okay? You divide by the leftover number. So you go 12 times 100, cross multiply, and divide. That gives us our fourth number. That's the missing number. So if you turn your calculator on, you hit clear. I always hit clear, so I don't have to look at stuff. 12 times 100, okay, equals 1200. Divide by 20. That's kind of the odd man out. You get 60. So 12 out of 20 is equal to 60%. That makes sense, right? Because 50% would be half of 20. That would be 10. 12 is a little bit more than half. 60 is a little bit more than half of 100%. So it's really just a matter of seeing the keywords. So let's jump down here to the ice cream question. If 14 out of 20. So now here's where you have to do a little bit of reading. 14 out of 20 people prefer chocolate ice cream. What percent prefer chocolate ice cream? So again, we have the part that like chocolate out of 20 total people. So it's part out of total, and you have percent out of 100%. So again, this is going to be cross multiply and divide and get your answer. So you're going to multiply the 14 and the 100. You're going to divide by the 20, and that's going to give you your missing number. So 14 times 100 is 1400. Divide by 20, 70. So that says in this question, 70% of these 20 people like chocolate ice cream. Piece of cake. Well, ice cream is not a piece of cake, but you know what I'm saying. All right, so we're going to pick just one more of these. How about this one? So if I say 6 people from the party showed up late. And 6 people was 20% of the people that came to the party. How many people came to the party? So 6 people is 20% of what number? So you set up your 4 spots. You know you got your 100% here. Now this type of question is one where it's really important to use your keywords. Of what number? That means on the number side, not the percent side, we're looking for something. So of what number? And that is a bottom number. Of what number? Whoa, now we've got an X in the bottom. That's fine. Let's see if the rest of it makes sense. Here is our 20%. I'm going to actually just do the 20%. So the 20% goes over 100. That's fine. And then you've got 6 people is. 6 people is. So people is 6. It doesn't read very well, but that does tell us it's a top number. So 6 is the part of the total that showed up. And we know that 6 and 20% are equal. So 6 people is 20%. They have to go together. 6 people is 20%. That's a top. Now you're going to go 6 times 100, divide by 20 to find out how many total people were there. So 6 times 100 is 600, divided by 20 says there were 30 people. So X equals 30 people. And does that make sense that 6 out of 30 is 20%? Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's fine. Okay, so now we're going to skip over and do some out of the Kaplan book. So practice problems on pages 267, 269, and 271. We're going to go and do maybe 1 or 2, well, probably 2 of each. And this is going to be one of the longer videos, but that's okay because this is a big topic. So 267, I should probably get myself to the right page. All right, so going up at the top, we're just going to pick a question. So we'll look at, it's practice 3.1 on page 267. We're going to do number 15. Number 15 says, what percent is 2.5 out of 4? Okay, so what percent is 2.5 out of 4? So this is what I'm reading. And again, this is number 15. 4 spaces. What percent? We don't know what the percent is. So we put the X over 100%. Is 2.5 out of 4? 4 goes in the bottom. 2.5 goes on the top. Pause the video. Try it. Cross multiply. You're going to cross multiply, divide, get your thing, and then turn it back on and check. See if you got the right answer. Okay, so 2.5 times 100. Calculator, 2.5 times 100 is 250 divided by 4. I've got a percentage of 62.5, and yes, you can have a decimal. I got 62.5%. That should be the answer in the answer key in the back of your book. So check it out. Make sure I'm right. If I'm not right, come find me, tell me, I'll fix a new video up. All right, so the last one that we're going to do here is we're going to do number 20. So let's take a look at number 20. The following advertisement for sporting goods appeared in the newspaper. What percent of the original price is the sale price? Okay, so they want what percent of the original, G-O-R-I-G-I-N-A-L. I cannot spell this word. I don't know why. What percent of the original price is the sale price? All right, so here's what I'm looking at. Now I gotta look at the advertisement. Little League package, Magnum bat, tote bag, youth cleats, only $45.50. Originally $65. So you set up your 4 spaces. You know you got your 100% down here. You're looking for what percent. So what percent of the original price? That means the original price is the original. It goes on the bottom. is the sale price. 45, let me make sure I got the right number. It's real important when you're doing math that you write down the right numbers. Otherwise, you end up doing a lot of math and then A, B, C, D doesn't match. And you're like, what's wrong? Oh, I copied the wrong number. All right, so we don't want to do that. So again, cross multiply and divide. 4550 times 100. So 4550 times, oops, I hit the wrong thing. Try it again. 4550 times 100. Okay, it's 4,550 divided by 65. I get 70%. Looks like it's letter D. All right, so you just make sure you check your labels. Okay, so that takes care of that page. Cool. And again, this is good to have in your notes. Part over total, percent over 100, is over of, percent over 100. Make sure you have that down. That's called the percentage proportion, I believe. Doesn't matter what it's called, it matters you know how to do it. Okay, now the next section, 3.2, they have this whole solving for base, solving for, like, trust me, you don't want to try that. You want to use the percent proportion. So let's just take a look. Let's look at 9. 90% of $15 is what number? So you have 90%. 90% would go over 100%. Now, the other two clues is of $15 is what number? So when you hear is what number, that means you're looking for this. 90% of $15 tells you the $15 goes in the bottom. So of 15. So again, you're looking for 90% of 15. So you're going to multiply here 90 times 15, divide by 100. So 90 times 15 equals 1,350 divided by 100. And it looks like X is equal to $13.50. Makes sense, right? 90% of something is almost all of it. If you get a 90% on a test, you'd probably have an A-. You got most of the questions right. Okay, so that's an example from the top. Let's do an example from the bottom. Oh, take a look at number 20, because number 20 has some interesting parts to it. So it says a city council established the following budget to improve public transportation. So this is going to be a lot of money because you're talking buses, maybe a metro, some kind of a subway, but public transportation is expensive, but it's also really important. So the question says, if $72,000 is allotted for equipment, what is the total budget for the project? So here's what they're giving you. They're giving you $72,000 is how much money they're doing for equipment. And they want to know the total budget. So the total budget is the whole thing, the grand amount. So you set up your 4 spaces. 4 spaces. Put your 100% on the bottom. You know this is going to work. Now, is 72,000, is that a part or is it a total? Well, it's a part. It's the part that was set up to pay for equipment. So $72,000, if you look at the chart, equipment says that is only 6% of the total. So 6% and 72,000 go together. The X is going to be your total budget. That's going to be equal to 100%. So go ahead, cross multiply and divide. Feel free to hit pause, check your answer against my answer. All right, I'm going to do it now though. 72,000 times 100 equals a really big number, divided by 6. I get 1,2,0,0,0,0 for X. That, oops, I got my comma in the wrong place. Bad me, bad me. Okay, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. That is $1,200,000. So that would be letter C, is what you're looking for. All right. So one last section here. We're going to go to page 271. And once again, we're going to try a question from the top and a question from the bottom. To get good at this, I would say try the questions that look harder. If you're getting them right, go on, work on something else, right? Once you get this, you've got it. You don't have to do every question in here. Make sure you actually do them though. Make sure you're comfortable with it. Okay, page 271. Let's do number 13, lucky number 13. We've got 390 is what percent of 500? So 390 is what percent? As soon as you see what percent, you can do this. And you have 390 is what percent of 500? 390 is what percent of 500? So 390 is your part, of 500 is your total. Cross multiply and divide. You've got 390 times 100 equals 39,000 divided by 500. Looks like I'm getting, feel free to pause, 78%. So 390 is 70% of 500. Okay. Remember, you can pause these things at any time or play them back again, or just rewind them, do whatever you want to. That's the joy of having these on video and why we're doing this. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do number 22. I like baseball. So kind of boring to watch, but it's fun to play. Anyway, a baseball player has the following statistics. To the nearest percent, which means you're going to round to the nearest 1%. What percent of the players at bats were strikeouts? Okay, so we again have what percent. So as soon as you hear what percent, x over 100 equals. Now we need the part, we need the total. The total is going to be all the at bats. The part is going to be the strikeouts. So I'm just going to put KO, which is baseball for strikeout. Actually, I guess if I were doing this correctly, I don't know why I'm taking time for this, but they do the K backwards. KO is a strikeout. I don't know. They do backwards Ks for strikeout. I don't know where that came from. But this person had 63 strikeouts. If you look at the chart, they had 410 at bats, ABs, okay, at bats. So again, once you have it set up, there's just not a lot of thinking to do. You're just going to cross multiply, and then you're going to divide by the 410, and that gives you your answer. So cross multiply, divide by 410. So 63 times 100 equals 6,300, 6,300 divided by 410, 410. Now, I've got 15.3658 and a whole bunch of other ones, right? We want it to the nearest 1%. When you're rounding, this is where you're rounding to. You're going to look right here at the 3, and you're going to ask yourself the question, does this number make that round up or off? It does not round down, either rounds up or rounds off. So 3 rounds off. So you're going to say, all right, it rounds to 15%. That's your answer. And that is letter D. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this works for you. Otherwise, if you understand the way the book presents it, go ahead and use that method. I, after teaching for 2 decades, really think this is the best way to go. Either way, good luck on your math journey. I hope you get a lot of percentage questions, and I hope you get them all right. See you for the next video.